will mark 2-year anniversary of the war in Ukraine, which is a very, feels significant, feels long. And people I know within Ukraine are talking about leadership, what's required of a leader, especially at this challenging time. And it led me thinking, so without going into this particular topic of Ukraine and war, and it's very heavy, but without going into it, I asked myself a question: what is the best and most important trait of a leader, any leader? Is it knowledge of a leader that is required of is it knowledge? And you may say no, because you can always surround yourself with knowledgeable experts. Is it charisma? Maybe no, as well no, because you can always ask others to represent you or help you with presentation skills. But what is it that one must look for in a potential leader? And so these questions were triggered by the text of this week's Torah portion. Last week we focused on details of the buildings of the tabernacle that Jewish people built in the desert. So this week's Torah portion has the instructions for making the high priest's garments. On a surface, the most boring subject was, so why did the high priest wear this robe, this breastplate, and so on? But when you read the commentators, the Torah scholars, it's very clear that they never approached it directly. They never approached it just from the beauty point of view. It had meaning for them. So this is how, this is one of the attempts to draw the representation of the high priest in its uniform, in his uniform. So and this Torah portions is focusing on the use of most extravagant and rare materials to produce these garments. Beginning with ephod. Ephod is the kind of vest that he's wearing. This what are the colors? The blue, gray, and red here. This kind of a vest. Then a breastplate, which is called choshen in Hebrew, with stones on it. And the robe in general, which is here, the blue one. The me'il in Hebrew. So, and at the end of this list, there is a line, there's a verse that drew attention of many commentators. And it shall be on Aaron, this uniform, it shall be on Aaron to serve, and its sounds shall be heard when he goes into the sanctuary. So, what sounds? And the answer is at the very... did it just disappear? Okay, it appeared again. So the answer is at the end of the blue robe. There are some bells at the end of the robe, so that when the high priest would walk, it's clear that the high priest would be heard from far away, because there are bells at the end. So that when he goes into the sanctuary in front of the Eternal One, and when he comes out, and he won't die. So it's puzzling. What's the connection between the sound of the garments, of the uniform, and the potential mortal danger that faces the high priest? So it bothered Torah scholars, and they looked into it. So what's so dangerous to be inside the sanctuary of the temple that it's considered there's a connection between the danger and the appearance of the high priest. So, and in fact, the Torah scholars found other verses that refer to this potential danger for the high priest. Here is one of them. And they shall be upon Aaron and his sons. Again, they meaning either bells or all the parts of the uniform. And his sons, when they go into the Mishkan, the tabernacle, or when they come near the altar to serve the holy place, and they must not bear a sin and die. And it shall be a law forever. And it is this verse that tries to explain what the danger is. So it connects the sins or mistakes or transgressions of the priest with the mortal danger. In other words, the Torah experts, the Torah text expects priests to be pure and free of sin when they come to serve God on behalf of the Jewish people. You need to remember that nowadays rabbis are not representative of God, right? So I don't serve so each person in Judaism has a direct relationship with God. I have no place there. But in the past, the priest would be messenger between people and God. So, and that's why. And since you represent people, please try to be honest. Try to have quite high standard for your personal behavior. So the Talmud offers another connection between the high priest's uniform and his responsibilities. So it is later in the Torah, in the book of Leviticus, it's written that on Yom Kippur, before performing any rituals, the high priest should ask for forgiveness, but not on behalf of people, but for himself and his family first, and only then continue asking for forgiveness for others. And so the Talmudic rabbis noticed it and connected all three verses together, and they asked questions. What does the high priest need to atone for? It's a high priest. We assume good moral standards of the high priest. And the Talmudic rabbis said that even the most righteous person in the world needs to atone for lashon hara, which means the unethical speech, such as telling lies or spreading rumors or speaking in public about something that should have remained in private. So it's because they said that no person is free from this kind of gray area of whether you're not sure, can I say this to so and so on. So Talmud Yerushalmi, other known as Palestinian Talmud, has this phrase. The anonymous voice brings the verse from this Torah portion, which describes the bells of the high priest's garments, and claims that the reason why Aaron or high priest needs to wear bells is Yavo kol v'yichaper al kol, and the sound comes and atones for the sound, meaning that the sound of bells should atone for the sound of lashon hara, of this unethical communication. So Babylonian Talmud, another Talmud, also has an explanation of the role of these elements of this high priest's robes, and states that the robe of the high priest atones for lashon hara, the robe, the entire robe, not just bells. And the Bavli text takes the position that the robe of the high priest was seen, not just heard, but also seen in public from far away, and this is why the colors are made for people to see. They cover the full spectrum of human vision, from red to violet. So it's and that's deliberate. So that's what they said. It should be visible, and it should be very, in a way, noticeable from afar. Why? For the same reason. Because this should be a public statement of apology for speaking unethically in public. So, and then this phrase appears in the same passage in Talmud. So let something that is done in secret, i.e. the incense offering that is burnt in private within the sanctuary, come and atone for an act done in secret. That is Lashon Hara, that was said in private. So, and therefore the high priest here atones not only for publicly speaking badly, but also for saying something in private to somebody. So, but the principle is important. Whatever is said in public and you need to apologize for, you need to apologize in public so that it would be visible and heard by others. But whatever said in private, it should be also done in private. So, and that's these principles. So early rabbis interpreted it in a way to emphasize responsibilities that our leaders bear and have to think about. And these responsibilities are not only about a public, what a public figure has to commit to in public, commit to in public, the standards of behavior, but in private too. So it's quite a high bar for the ethics. So, and combining these messages together, we have a fascinating approach. So if a leader who represents us did something wrong, first of all, it is possible to atone. It is possible to seek apology, to give this person apology, and ask for forgiveness. But if something wrong was done in public, it should be done in public. If something wrong was done in private, the apology must be done in private. If you look at this Torah passage from this perspective, from the ethical perspective, you can look at the priestly garments not as a privilege, but as a heavy burden. Also imagine how much gold and how much metal is used there, stones. It is heavy, physically heavy. So the finest fabric, metals, stones were reserved only for the high priest, only for the high priest. Yet they were meant to burden him with his obligations and the highest moral standards. The privilege of the role comes with the most beautiful robe, but also the expectations of the highest standards of behavior. So why am I speaking about it tonight? First of all, don't worry. I'm not trying to put bells on politicians. Liberal Judaism also doesn't believe in priests anymore. We don't want temple sacrifices, high priests, any priests, Asian temple services. We don't want to restore them. The synagogue has permanently replaced the temple, according to the liberal Jewish position. But the idea and principle should, I think, not be forgotten. In a way, we need to take it and translate into a modern world. It's normal to expect our leaders to be good people and act with decency and ask for forgiveness when they've done something wrong. Perhaps the most important trait of a leader is the ability to say, I don't know, and I am sorry, and perhaps remember that, borrowing the phrase from another book, with great power comes great responsibility. Shabbat Shalom. We're going to continue, or conclude rather, our service on page 500.